Am I the a-hole for opting to take my children to their father's funeral, which is rapidly approaching this Friday? My ex-husband passed away last week in a car accident. Completely unexpected. The troopers came to my house to break the news since I was his emergency contact. The first person I called was his father, P, and he flew out the next day with my ex's sister. Before he flew out, he asked where we should have the service. Texas, where we live, or Maryland, where our families and friends are. I told him it should be in Maryland, since that's where everyone was, and he agreed. He mentioned that the funeral home might allow a small family viewing, and I agreed as long as I felt my ex was in a condition he'd be okay with. I met P and my ex's sister at the funeral home to go over paperwork and plan the viewing. He shared the funeral details, and we talked about my ex's life, his job, home, and the probate process. P was defensive about some of my ex's belongings, but I didn't argue. My focus was on my children, so I backed off from helping clean out the home and handed over all his insurance paperwork and any useful information, including work contacts and login details. We had the viewing, and both of our children said goodbye to their dad. It was deeply emotional. At the viewing, I mentioned that a friend had paid for our tickets to Maryland, which I was incredibly grateful for, since I was suddenly facing life without my ex's financial support for our children. After the viewing, I heard nothing from P or my ex's sister. They didn't ask to see the kids or update me on anything. I was left navigating the life insurance process while grieving and trying to support my children through their pain. The last few days have been filled with tears and anger. We are completely heartbroken. Then on Friday, P called me and said we were not welcome at the funeral. He said my children and I would be a asterisk distraction asterisk to asterisk his asterisk family's grieving. I was shocked. I told him I had never heard anything so hateful and ended the conversation. P and my ex's sister have never visited Texas in the 4 years we've lived here. They weren't close, didn't even know where he worked or have recent pictures of him. My ex and I were divorced but still good friends, and he was a devoted father. His children were his world. Am I the a-hole for ignoring P and still taking them to the funeral? It's open to anyone, and I can't imagine us being there among hundreds of people will really be an issue.